Hey, what up, everyone? Welcome back to the FitBiz Podcast. Jordan here, and today I'm going to share with you 20 proven content ideas or hooks or angles that are guaranteed to flood your DMs with leads, with people who are actually interested in your coaching, not just people who might DM you to say, hey, man, like that post was super inspiring, or you look shredded, or, whatever things that, are flattering, but don't actually result in your business growing. So before I jump in, there's some context to build around this, right? I don't want to just throw hooks at you guys without you understanding why these work and how you can start to replicate these ideas yourself. So when I first got started, years back, really all I thought that I needed to talk about was kind of how often my coaching program was, or how unique and how awesome the actual coaching is, or alternatively, I would create just endless educational based content to ultimately try to prove, how intelligent I am. Because I always thought that, the smarter that I was, the more clients that I would get. And it was a harsh realization to realize that that's not true. But anyways, in some ways it did kind of work. I would get some clients. But the problem was the clients that I did get, they kind of treated me like Google, where they just wanted me to constantly educate them and give them all these ideas, and it was very draining. And so what I want to share with you today is the idea of problem syntax messaging. What this will do is attract more clients who they want a problem solved that you have a solution for, and they don't care as much about sort of how you solve it or needing to know the ins and outs of how it's solved. They just have a painful problem that you have a solution for, okay? So really the concept of this is basically understanding how to articulate the specific problems faced by your ideal client or your dream prospect, and you educate them about their problems, because oftentimes they don't fully realize or understand the extent of their problems, or even know that, okay, the symptoms that I have in my life, that are showing up are related to this core problem that you solve. So by you talking about your solution, if they don't understand that, it just falls on deaf ears, right? I'm gonna give you two examples here. One example is somebody who does this really well is our success coach, Lacy, who also has a multiple six-figure business, crushes it. She does a great job with this. So I'm gonna share that example, and then I'll break down one more example. But Lacy, what she solves, basically her promise is she's helped 925 busy women balance their hormones to be able to lose fat and increase their energy. Pretty straightforward, really great promise. But ultimately what she started to find is that cortisol is the main problem that she's focused on. So you can see here in her content, it's how to tell if your cortisol is too high or too low. And then it goes into the symptoms and problems, she literally has all the symptoms listed out. So as people start to see things like this, they're like, oh, wow, maybe that's the reason for my pain or the thing that I'm dealing with, right? And you can see all of her kind of hooks and her angles are centered around that. 10 days of cortisol balancing habits. In fact, she shared with us recently how she's been creating a lot of content on this, and she basically boosted a couple of posts on Instagram. And this is a strategy that we teach our students how to, spend a little bit to boost specific types of posts that end up bringing in leads and growing your following. But she did this, and they all funneled into this 10 days of cortisol balancing content. And all she did was boost a couple of posts related to hey, here's how to tell if you have high or low cortisol. So again, it's hitting a cold audience with a problem lead in, and then they funnel in, they go through all of these posts, and it's damn, okay, I need your solution. So I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of all of her posts here on this podcast, but you can always look her up, Lacy Iskra on Instagram. Cool, so next I wanna share with you kind of a zoomed out perspective of your content strategy as a whole. So you understand where this fits in. Then I'm going to give you another example. So if you're watching on YouTube or watching the visual here, we have basically a Venn diagram. At the very top, you have trust. Then right below that, you have community content, and then you have intimacy content. All right. So trust-based content, really what that means is exactly what I'm talking about here today. It's building authority, it's educating around the problems, it's speaking directly to your ICA, and that's the type of content that ultimately allows you to go deep and get more clients, but it will result in your engagement being lower. This isn't going to be the type of content that gets shares, usually, it can, but that's going to go viral, right? That's going to get you high engagement, high likes, and allow you to kind of grow your following. That's where community content comes in. Okay, community content, it's centered more around, polarizing or controversial topics, things that you believe and value outside of fitness. What are the things in your personality, your day-to-day life? Is it family? Is it religion? Is it politics? Is it whatever that's going to appeal to a wide base of demographic and then bring those people in? Then they will start to see your more deep trust content. Now, the third component is just intimacy, right? This is where you need to sprinkle in from time to time personal stories, things that you're struggling with, vulnerable type shares, right? You need to sprinkle those things in too, because that also allows you to go deep deeper with your audience. So I share all that because, again, I want you to understand where this all fits in. So this is centered around the trust. And if you're somewhat new and you're struggling to get clients, you have, at least 500, 700, 1,000 followers, that there are people in your audience that, you could help, but for whatever reason, things aren't clicking, I would really focus on this. So let's give one more example here. Let's say that your, ideal client is a working mom. Maybe she's too busy to eat during the day. Then, when nighttime rolls around, she can't stop stress eating. She doesn't have time to cook or go to the gym because she's busy with her kids' work and school activities, etc. You want to just think about what the pain points are of that person, right? She probably feels like a failure because what they used to do isn't working anymore, or she hides in her pictures. She feels uncomfortable in summer activities. She misses out on experiences and memories with her kids because she has lack of confidence. She's not setting a good example for her kids. She has body image issues, lack of intimacy and romance with her partner. So these are the 20 content hooks that I'm going to give you here, and you'll see how this fits in and why these types of topics will start to really speak to that person and make them realize, damn, okay, I now realize that I have this problem. I realize the severity of this problem and ultimately the consequence of me not taking action to solve this. So number 1, 5 steps for the busy mom to break the starve by day, binge by night cycle. So that's focusing on that pain point, that problem that they might not realize how much of a problem it is, starving all day and then binging at night. Number 2, why not having enough time is actually making you gain weight. Again, that's focused on a problem that they have, but they don't realize how big of a problem it is. So we're going to educate them on that. Number 3, the truth about keto for post-pregnancy weight loss. They might be trying keto, but they don't realize that that's actually a problem. Number 4, is coffee your only meal? Here's how this wrecks your metabolism. Number 5, how to go from hiding behind the camera to showing off in photos. And again, that's educating around, they know that they hide in photos, but they're kind of hiding it. It's not in their face, right? The real cost of waiting, how postponing your weight loss goals is actually affecting your family's life. How to build your confidence back after having a baby without sacrificing family time. How healthy eating on a budget is possible. How about I can't afford a coach versus the true cost of not investing in your health. Why traditional diets fail working moms. Integrating workouts into a hectic schedule. How your self-image influences your children. These are all really deep topics that, again, they're doing, but they need educated as to why doing this is affecting more than just them. Or, hey, nothing works for me. How to overcome this limiting belief and actually lose weight for good. Or the connection between self-punishment and weight loss and why cardio isn't the answer. So again, these are just topics, big ideas that you can run with and create good, valuable content. You can use, last framework I'll share with you is take these topics and just think hook, story, offer. The hook I pretty much gave to you. Story, either tell a story about a client who suffered from this, tell a story about yourself, or it could just be more educational and hey, old way versus new way, or here's the mistake, here's what to do instead. And then offer can literally just be you making a CTA for your coaching, or, DM me for resource, or even just hey, did this resonate with you? Whatever your CTA is. Anyways, guys, hopefully you found this useful, but I just wanted to give you some quick content tips here because I'm seeing in today's market, the coaches in IFCA that we work with, the ones who not only in their content, but their ads, whatever, are focused on really speaking to the problems and raising awareness around problems are having a lot of success. But those who are just randomly educating, not being very specific, right? Here's workout tips, or all they're doing is kind of talking about their offer and how awesome their training app is, or how awesome their check-ins are, just these features of their program, are having a lot more trouble. So that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you found this useful and can't wait to see you on the next episode.